There are moments in life when you stop and reflect, and a quiet weight settles on your heart as you think about time. Not just the time that has passed, but the time you feel you have lost. Years that did not go the way you planned. Seasons where you were distracted, broken, confused, or simply trying to survive. Moments you wish you could redo. Decisions you wish you could take back. Opportunities you feel slipped through your fingers. And if you are honest, there are times when you wonder if it is too late to become who you were meant to be. This feeling is more common than people admit. It is a quiet grief of wasted years. And it does not always come from obvious mistakes. Sometimes it comes from things that were out of your control. Sometimes it comes from pain that slowed you down. Sometimes it comes from seasons where you were just lost and did not know any better. And sometimes it comes from knowing you had potential but did not fully walk in it. But the truth is, God does not see your life the way you do. Where you see wasted time, God sees a story that is still being written. Where you see delay, God sees preparation. Where you see loss, God sees the beginning of restoration. The Bible says in Joel 2 verse 25, "I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten." That is not just poetic language. That is a promise. It means that God is not limited by time the way we are. He is able to redeem, to restore, and to bring purpose out of seasons that felt empty or unproductive. And understanding that changes how you see your past. Because instead of being trapped in regret, you begin to see the possibility of redemption. God restores wasted years in ways that go far beyond what we expect. He does not simply give you back what you lost in the same form. He transforms it. He multiplies it. He uses it to shape something deeper in you. The first way God restores wasted years is by renewing your mind. Because often, the greatest loss is not time itself, but the mindset that came from those seasons. The way you think about yourself, the way you see your future, the way you interpret your past. If your mind is filled with regret, shame, and limitation, then even new opportunities will feel heavy. But the Bible says in Romans 12 verse 2, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." That means God begins restoration from the inside out. He changes the way you think, so you can step into what He has for you. When your mind is renewed, you no longer see yourself as someone who wasted time. You begin to see yourself as someone who has been prepared. You begin to understand that even the difficult seasons taught you something. They strengthened you in ways you did not realize. They gave you insight, resilience, and depth that you would not have gained otherwise. And suddenly, what felt like wasted years begin to look like hidden training. The second way God restores wasted years is by giving you clarity of purpose. One of the most painful parts of lost time is feeling directionless. Feeling like you were moving without knowing where you were going. But when God begins to restore you, He brings clarity. The Bible says in Jeremiah 29 verse 11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." That means your life is not random. There is intention behind it. And when God reveals purpose, it gives meaning to your past. Because purpose reframes everything. Things that once felt like detours begin to look like alignment. Things that once felt like mistakes begin to look like lessons. Things that once felt like wasted time begin to feel like preparation for what is ahead. And when you begin to walk in purpose, you realize that God has a way of accelerating things. He can do in a short time what would normally take years. He can align opportunities, relationships, and moments in ways that move you forward faster than you thought possible. The third way God restores wasted years is through discipline and consistency. This is where restoration becomes practical. Because while God is able to redeem time, you still have a responsibility to steward the time you have now. Restoration is not passive. It requires participation. The Bible says in Galatians 6 verse 9, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." That means consistency matters. Small, daily decisions matter. The habits you build now become the foundation for what God is restoring. You may not see immediate results. You may not feel like you are catching up. But every step of obedience, every moment of discipline, every decision to stay committed is part of the restoration process. God does not waste consistency. He multiplies it. The fourth way God restores wasted years is by healing what was broken. Because sometimes the reason those years felt wasted is not because nothing was happening, but because you were hurting. And pain has a way of slowing you down, distracting you, and keeping you from fully engaging with life. But God does not ignore your pain. He addresses it. The Bible says in Psalm 147 verse 3, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. That means restoration is not just about moving forward. It is about being made whole. Because you cannot fully step into what God has for you while carrying unresolved pain from the past. Healing allows you to release what has been holding you back. It allows you to forgive. It allows you to let go of shame. It allows you to move forward without being weighed down by what happened. And when you are healed, you begin to live differently. You begin to make decisions from a place of wholeness instead of brokenness. The fifth way God restores wasted years is by using your past for purpose. Nothing you have been through is meaningless. Even the mistakes, even the failures, even the seasons you wish you could erase. God has a way of using those experiences to impact others. The Bible says in Romans 8 verse 28, And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. That means everything can be used for good. Your story has value. Your experiences have purpose. The things you went through can become the very things that help someone else. And when that happens, you begin to see your past differently. It is no longer just something you regret. It becomes something that carries meaning. It becomes something that God uses to bring light into other people's lives. The sixth way God restores wasted years is by bringing divine opportunities. There are moments in life that cannot be explained by effort alone. Doors that open unexpectedly. Connections that happen at the right time. Opportunities that align in ways that feel intentional. That is part of God's restoration. The Bible says in Revelation 3 verse 8, See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. That means when God begins to move, He creates opportunities that are beyond what you could have arranged on your own. And those moments can shift your life in ways that make up for lost time. Because God is not limited by your past. He is not restricted by what you missed. He is able to position you exactly where you need to be. But you have to be ready. You have to be willing. You have to be attentive. Because opportunities require obedience. The seventh way God restores wasted years is by giving you peace about your past. This is one of the most powerful forms of restoration. Because even if everything changes externally, if you are still carrying regret internally, you will not fully experience freedom. But God offers peace. The Bible says in Philippians 3 verses 13 to 14, Forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press on toward the goal. That does not mean you literally forget your past. It means you are no longer controlled by it. It means you are no longer defined by it. It means you have made peace with it. And that peace allows you to move forward with confidence. It allows you to embrace your future without hesitation. It allows you to trust that God is still working in your life. Because the truth is, your life is not over. Your story is not finished. Your purpose is still unfolding. And no matter how much time you feel you have lost, God is able to restore it in ways that go beyond what you can imagine. But it requires trust. It requires surrender. It requires consistency. It requires you to let go of regret and embrace what God is doing now. Because the enemy wants you to stay stuck in your past. He wants you to believe that it is too late. He wants you to feel like you missed your chance. But God says otherwise. God says He restores. God says He redeems. God says He makes all things new. And when you begin to truly believe that, something shifts in you. You stop looking backward with regret. You start looking forward with expectation. You begin to see possibilities where you once saw limitations. You begin to move with purpose instead of hesitation. You begin to trust that God is able to do more with your remaining years than you could have done with all the years you thought you lost. And that is the beauty of God's restoration. It is not just about giving you back time. It is about transforming your life. It is about aligning you with purpose. It is about bringing you into a place of fulfillment that is deeper than anything you could have achieved on your own. And as you continue walking with Him, day by day, consistently, faithfully, you will begin to see it. You will begin to see the evidence of restoration. In your mindset, in your peace, in your opportunities, in your growth, in your purpose. And one day, you will look back, not with regret, but with gratitude. Because you will realize that even the years you thought were not wasted in the hands of God. They were part of the process, part of the shaping, part of the story that led you to where you are now. And you will understand, deeply and fully, that God truly does restore what was lost. Not just partially, but completely, in ways that only He can.